I love that you're taking marketing and literally just making it fun.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great time with it because you're only limited by your own creativity, right? You can literally do anything. So why would you be boring? The best type of ads that, we've been able to launch are just fun, they're silly. And now you don't even have to be silly. It's your clone. Like that's what's so cool about this. So I just put one more thing. I said, put a cartoon shark. I'm curious what it's going to give me. Like, there we go. Now here, there's like a
Wow.
character, so maybe you want to create like a character that, maybe you're a lifeguard company or something and you're like, you know, shark Bobby the shark will come to save you. Maybe that's the name of your company, to be able to create like a, like Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes or, like the Kool-Aid guy. I don't even remember his name, the Kool-Aid character or Flo from Progressive. We can create whatever characters we want. Once we like this, now all we do is if you just go up here to add to prompt, you can click add to prompt, and then you just go back and do the same thing we did earlier. We go to frames to video, and then we could just say, have her say, do you feel like you're wrestling with a shark? Like you're wrestling, you know, with a shark when you're, doing your taxes. Maybe you're called shark taxes. I don't really know. I'm just making stuff up. And then you just hit enter, and then now it's going to create that. So it's really just like two steps: create the video, then create the video. I'm sorry, create the image, and then create the video, and then, piece it all together.
Yeah. And then how are you doing that in terms of if you're doing that in CapCut, which you'd essentially maybe you've got 5 frames and then you've got the
Mhm.
audio that it's given you, like the words, and then you're just literally putting in maybe some transitions, do you put underground, like background music?
I don't do any transitions. Again, I don't do anything that doesn't affect my bank account. So I just put videos in there. I put them together. It's the script that affects your bank account. The script is what
Mm.
brings in the sales. Like you want to spend time on creating something really fun and then the visuals, right? Now, can you add transitions and that sort? You can definitely do it. Like you said, you can add like cool dissolves and stuff like that. Is it necessary? You don't need to do that. In fact, even the ad that we did, for ClickFunnels, they're $1 billion company. We had zero transitions. We had nothing fancy, but the script was really fantastic. The script was really fun. And it just, so that's why I say, like, the AI part is like the easy part, the editing part. Spend the most
Mm.
time creating something that's really going to grab people's attention, that you can put together. And then, yeah, it's very simple. Like you said, let's say there were 5 frames. You would just drag them into CapCut. You'd put them in order. And then
Yep.
usually I'll just like kind of trim off maybe if there's some dead space or, something like that. And then that's it. You can add captions and you can add music. I like to add music, so definitely playing around with CapCut, I would, recommend it. And it's fairly simple. At that point, you just export it, and create a few clips. Maybe you create one more if you're wanting to make your first ad, and it'll take you minutes. Like I walked you guys through the process. It took me just a few minutes to get each of these, videos out. And if you guys want to see it, and I'll give you the audio for it, but we can just see what it kind of looks like.
Do you feel like you're wrestling with a shark when you're doing your taxes?
So it's kind of fun and, and you have like 4 different options. So you can play it and it'll play the audio for you and it'll play the video. And then again, all you do is download it, drag it into CapCut. And, again, I don't really do anything fancy with our videos except putting it together and then adding some music. We spend all of our time on the things that affect conversions, which are the script, making sure we have something solid before we even start generating the AI videos.
I like for me, I'm just blown away that you're literally just using ChatGPT for the script, Google for the video, and then CapCut. There's no mid journey, there's no like high tech editing software. Like this is just really like anyone can actually, yes, if they just sit down and have a play and have a try, as long as obviously they get the script right. But as far as the actual software goes, there's nothing technical.
Yeah, the AI stuff itself, and that's what I was saying, that's the simple part, and that's the part that everyone's scared of. Everyone's so scared of the AI, and it's like, actually, it's just that there's not a lot of people that know how to do it, and so a lot of people kind of also like a lot of the fancy stuff. Like, I always see a lot of the ads like, "This is how you," and then they show all kinds of crazy stuff, and you have to shoot multiple things, and I'm like, "That's great, but you don't need that to make money, and you don't need that to bring in sales," and that's cool if you're, like, very passionate about creating AI videos. For me, I'm just more passionate about the humor part, like adding, making people laugh and stuff and bringing in sales. And so that's where I focus. I focus on how do we bring in sales? And the stuff that brings in the sales is the humor, not necessarily, the special effects. If you watch a movie and it has a terrible script, you don't sit there and go, wow, that was a great movie because of the special effects. You hate the movie. And something can be there's old movies from back in the day that have terrible technology, but the scripts are so great, they still stand the test of time because the scripts are great. So really it just, goes back to it's just they're fantastic. If you have a great script, spend the time working on creating a script, and then the AI is actually the easy part.
Yeah. I love this. Thank you. What are a couple of things we could look out for in terms of, is there optimal lengths, or is there anything that might catch the audience out when they're trying this for the first time?
So a lot of people ask, like, what's the ideal length for an ad? We have ads that are running that are 8 seconds long, and we have ads that are 90 seconds long. I would say there's nothing that's like too long or too short. There's just too boring. The script is just too sucky. So if you have a sucky script, it's not gonna perform well. But there's plenty of ads that we have that are 8 seconds or shorter that are performing fantastic and in different niches. Like I told you guys, we create ads for $10 million, $100 million, $1 billion companies. So we create ads. We've had a lot of data and a lot of experience. So we've seen the way that it performs over a lot of different companies, info products, e-commerce companies, service providers. It's the same over the entire thing. You never really know, but you know what's great? You can create so many different ads here that post one every day, right? If you're doing organic. Oh, if you're doing paid marketing, you're going to want multiple ads to test. Create an 8 second one, create a 45 second one, create a 90 second one. But it's really not about the time frame. It's whether it's entertaining. When you think about like a movie, do you ever go, wow, that was a great movie because it was 90 minutes? You don't, right? You never go, wow, that was a great movie because it was 50 minutes. You don't. It was either a great movie or it wasn't. Whether it's a short film or whether it's long like the Titanic or whether it's a whole Netflix series that takes you months to finish, it's either good or it's not. So don't focus too much on like the techie part, like the logistical, like all the details, I'm sorry, of like how long it is or those types of things. Focus on the quality of the content. That's where you're going to really get the results.
Yeah. I think it's also like important to note, guys, if you're watching this at home, that it's not about just making one ad and then crying when that one doesn't work. Like, as Christine's saying, you want to try lots of different things because some of them aren't going to work and some of them are going to work. And you're just not going to know until you get out there and do it. So making 2 or 3 ads and then, just being like, ads don't work for me. No, just keep going, keep making them, and you'll end up building that data, because you're not never going to learn how to make those scripts that are actually converting for you if you're only doing, one ad every 6 months. If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.